first of all, I want to talk to my Republicans. First of all, stay the hell out of our race. Stay the hell out of our race. I get sick and tired, Ed and Sandra, of listening to Republicans tell me and the Democrats about our process. First of all, they don't have a process. They're canceling primaries. They have winner take all. They don't have the kind of democracy that we see on the Democratic side. And for people to use Russian talking points to sow division among Americans, that is stupid. So, Ronna, go to hell. This is not about, go to hell. I'm tired of it, Ed. We're not trying to prevent anyone from becoming the nominee. If you have the delegates and win, you will win. This notion that somehow or another Democrats are out there trying to put hurdles or roadblocks before one candidate, that's stupid. I know what's going on. They are scared of Democrats coming together to defeat Donald Trump.
I don't know. It sounds like some prominent Democrats are a little touchy about the whole Bernie Sanders coup situation. That was former DNC chair, I believe, and current Fox News commentator Donna Brazile, formerly of CNN before she leaked a debate question to Hillary Clinton to help her beat Bernie Sanders. So there's that. But we got my man Jesse Kelly. He is of the Jesse Kelly Show on radio, on Pluto TV. I'm Right with Jesse Kelly is his show. He also had my single favorite tweet today, which I'm actually going to read because that's how good I think it is for all of you to hear. People saying that Warren should come to an agreement with Biden and drop out don't seem to realize how understandably hesitant Warren must be to sign a treaty with anyone. Jesse Kelly, everybody. That was Jesse, by the way. I was drinking my Black Rifle coffee this morning, having a muffin, and I basically choked on it when I read the tweet. So thank you.
Sometimes you're never sure if it's too subtle, but if you hit just that sweet spot, that's where you know you got it. And I knew that was it.
Yeah, I mean, when Elizabeth Warren answered once a question in one of the debates about Afghanistan, I was like, everybody should listen to her because she's clearly an expert in tribal warfare. and like, I feel like about half the people got it. Half the people were like, what do you mean? Does she serve on the Armed Services Committee or something? I was like, nope, it's not really what we're talking about. All right, Jesse, it's Super Tuesday day and, you're down there in Texas. First of all, Bernie is supposed to win that Democrat primary, right? What the heck is wrong with Democrats in Texas? I know you're not a Democrat, but you are a Texan.
Well, here's what happens. It's kind of the same thing that's happening in places like California, too. People think that Texas is blood red. I mean, it's red. It's not blood red. But when you're in a state that's usually one color, the party of the opposition is way more rabid than normal. Like, we all love to make fun of Californians. I mean, who doesn't love that as a pastime? The truth is the most bloodthirsty conservatives you'll ever meet in your life are in California because they're stuck in this blue state hell that they can't escape. And the Democrats are the same way here. That's why they're more radicalized. That's why they love Bernie.
Well, it's true about me as a conservative in Manhattan. People are always like, I don't understand how you are the way you are. I'm like, imagine understanding the world and reality and history and being surrounded with virtue signaling, childish lunatics all the time. And you have me. Like it makes sense actually when you break it down that way. So what do you say? That we started off with Donna Brazile getting very testy. She told Ronna McDaniel Romney. I guess we've dropped the Romney part, by the way. That happened. She told her to go to hell. This was all about the Trump tweet about the anti-Bernie coup. I don't understand. We're all supposed to believe that just suddenly all these Democrats drop out right before Super Tuesday, and there's we're not saying they broke rules necessarily to do this, although they did change the rules to let Bloomberg into debates, by the way. But it seems to me like, of course, there were some backroom deals.
Oh, of course there are. I honestly, Buck, and I have to tell you, and I think it's precious, but I don't have a soul or anything like that, so I don't have to deal with it. And when I saw even some people on the right talk about how they thought it was really awesome how Buttigieg was just putting his party over himself, and he's just, selflessly out there giving. Get serious, people. Stop being a child. These people all struck deals, if not formally, then informally. They're all bucking to be the next VP or want to be the next Secretary of State. Buttigieg is a 38-year-old who tried to go from being mayor of South Bend to the most powerful man on the planet. Do you think he all of a sudden got less ambitious? No, the DNC and a bunch of big donors rounded them all up, made a bunch of promises. We'll back your next run. We'll do this. Maybe you'll be VP. And they all fell right in line just in time. And it's hilarious listening to people like Donna Brazell get defensive about it because everybody knows why she's defensive. Of course they're trying to screw Bernie. Every step of the way, the whole public can watch them screwing over Bernie, and it's adorable watching them try to hide it.
It is kind of funny, isn't it? Like, this is something that if you've been paying attention to American politics for the last 4 years, you know that the people that are in power in the Democratic Party don't, because remember, it's not just Bernie. I think everyone needs to understand this, and this is important to emphasize. It's the whole apparatus that Bernie would bring in. Bernie would want different consultants. Bernie would want different people in the Bernie would be this shift away from the Democrat power structure that exists even under a Republican presidency.
Well, in the same way, and look, I know your listeners are going to freak out when I say this, but let me explain. Bernie is really similar to Trump in that way, in that all systems really just are engineered to have the system continue on doing the same old, same old. The reason Trump has seen such a massive backlash from the bureaucracy and all these people is he's a shock from the system. He's a new way of doing things, and systems hate that. That's exactly the reason they would hate Bernie, too. Hillary Clinton came out and said it. No one's ever worked with him. Nobody likes to work with him. He never plays ball. He would be such a shock to the system that's why he's getting such a backlash now. That all the good old boy network, it all goes away if someone like Bernie gets in. And look, that's part of his appeal. I hate the guy, but that's part of his appeal.
Yeah, I will say this. Democrats who talk so much about how they want change and they want things to be different and all the rest, it's fascinating how quickly they'll say, actually, let's go back to the 8 years of the Obama administration. It's like, well, how, I thought we wanted radical transformation. What happened here, folks? Bernie clearly represents that for them. Do you think, though, depending on how the Super Tuesday votes come out, looks like Bernie is going to be in the lead when it comes to delegates. So isn't he still the front runner, or do we just assume, okay, the Biden fix is in, so it doesn't even matter what the Super Tuesday delegate count is?
I don't know if there's a Biden fix or a Bloomberg fix, because Bloomberg has bought a lot of favors in the Democrat Party. But Bernie right now, Bernie Sanders is, and I'm not calling him a Nazi, everybody, so calm down. Bernie Sanders is the Wehrmacht invading Russia. The clock is ticking, and he had better win and better win real shortly, because the longer the race goes on, he's screwed. Winter is coming, and to use a Game of Thrones word, what I'm saying is if it goes to the convention, I don't care whether he has the most delegates or not, he's not coming out of that convention as the nominee.
Yeah.
So he had better have a big night tonight and a bunch of other big nights between now and the convention, because if he's not already the nominee, he's
Yeah, he has to lock it up. I agree, because if it comes to any kind of deal making, brokered convention, any of that stuff, no way Bernie Sanders. Maybe they'll offer him some kind of a position in whatever the Democrat administration is or something, but there's no way that Bernie Sanders is the nominee if he doesn't go into Milwaukee this summer as the nominee. I just don't see it.
It's not possible. And what's bad for the Democrat Party, and honestly, I mean, while I'll enjoy making fun of their disastrous convention, it'll be bad for the country, too, because Bernie's supporters, let's be honest about this, they're more prone to violence than other supporters of other candidates, both Democrats and Republicans, and they're crazy, and they've already been caught.
Bernie bros are the worst. I mean, not all of them, obviously, but Bernie bros, the real hardcore followers of Bernie Sanders, are the worst of any major political candidate in the United States.
Well, there's no question, and they've already been caught on video with that Project Veritas stuff saying they're going to burn down Milwaukee, they're going to burn down the country. Now, a lot of that's just, hyperbole. They don't have the ability to do a lot of that stuff, but there's going to be some kind of riots. There's going to be, hopefully not, but I bet you somebody is going to get hurt if Bernie does not get the nomination at that convention. So it'll be fun to make fun of him for a while, but I actually do worry about some people's safety if he doesn't get it. They're going to lose their mind.
We had a surprise last night on TV. Chris Matthews, I don't know if you picked up on this yet or not, Jesse, but Chris Matthews stepped down. This comes after over 20 years And he was one of these guys who I would just say, why does this guy get to keep his job? Like he doesn't seem very bright. He kind of just yells all the time. He used to be somewhat, I think, wasn't he? Oh no, maybe that's Ed Schultz. I was going to say he used to be a Republican, but no, that's Ed Schultz. But whatever. The point is, the guy's old, he yells, and apparently this is where, things ran on the rocks for him. He said some stuff to some women about how they were attractive, and he was done. Like, he quit mid-show last night. Did you see it?
I did see it, and I mean, without knowing the circumstances of it, it's just one of those things these days where everybody's head is on a chopping block for saying anything. Look, maybe it was totally warranted that he quit and got run out. I don't know what level of harassment it was. If it was telling a woman she looks good, let's hope that didn't do it. But if he's actually sexually harassing somebody, then goodbye and see you later. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, we don't. Without knowing the details, you can't really assess it. I just thought it was funny. I haven't seen a situation where somebody on a cable news broadcast was like, "I'm done," and he just left.
It was. I wonder how much he planned it or how much he told him. He was just straight up walking off. I guess I don't know how live they actually filmed that show, but I mean, look, that's quite a sign off. But it's in the end, the guy's been there forever. The truth is, he probably got a nice backroom deal with a nice little 7-figure severance package, and he's riding off into the sunset. And he'll ride it out for another year or two, and then he'll be back as a guest analyst, and then slowly back as a host.
Who do you find the most? Or actually, here's the best way to ask this: is of the libs who have shows, news shows of any kind, who do you find the worst? Who's the worst for you?
Brian Stelter, and he's easy to pick on. But here's the reason why. Like, I don't mind. I've never minded Rachel Maddow. I've never even minded Chris Matthews.
No, I think Rachel Maddow's honest about who she is. So, she's upfront about being a big liberal, and that's fine.
Yeah. She's a leftist on the right. I don't pretend to be down the middle. What bothers me about people like Stelter is when we're just doing the news. We're just doing journalism while they rattle off the same talking points that all the leftists like Maddow say. At least be honest about who you are. I never go on my TV show and tell everybody I'm some journalist who's just calling balls and strikes. I'm not. I'm trying to screw over the Democrat Party every single day and help my party.
Yep, me too. So there we go. I got to tell you, I think for me it has to be someone at CNN because that place is it's so dishonest, and it's just all rooted in a lie now that they're not a get Trump operation top to bottom. I mean, everything about that place now is anti-Trump. So I always wonder, like, if I had to pick the single, I mean, the worst of all time, I think, is Keith Olbermann, though, just because he's a horrible human being as well as like a total propagandist. But over at CNN, I think, I don't know. For me, it's either Lemon or Tapper, and they're very different. But those are the two worst. Because you have smug fraud who is vicious behind the scenes, but pretends to be like a knight who cares so much about the troops all the time with Tapper. Please, it's all Tapper brand building. And then you have Don Lemon, who's just really dumb. I mean, President Trump says that Don Lemon is a dumb guy.
Speaking of Don Lemon, let me give everybody who's listening a little behind the scenes. When you do television shows and somewhat radio shows, but definitely television shows, your blocks are numbered. Like before the first commercial break, that's A block, and then the second one's B block, so on and so forth. And your A block is your most important block. It's the most watched block. Everybody knows this. This is just kind of inside baseball TV stuff. Don Lemon is so inept at television that Chris Cuomo holds over after his show to do Don Lemon's A block with him every single day, or at least every single time I've seen it. And I know that's way inside baseball, but people have to understand how telling that is on how inadequate they know Don Lemon is. He can't even carry his own A block.
Jesse Kelly can carry all of his blocks. You should check him out on the Jesse Kelly Show, now in syndication on radio, also on podcast. Mr. Jesse Kelly, thanks for making the time.
See you, my brother.
Let me start with my headline tonight. I'm retiring. This is the last Hardball on MSNBC, and obviously, this isn't for lack of interest in politics. As you can tell, I've loved every minute of my 20 years as host of Hardball. Every morning I read the papers, and I'm gung-ho to get to work. Not many people have had this privilege. I love working with my producers and the discussions we have over how to report the news. And I love having this connection with you, the good people who watch.
Last night. Well, it was his last night. That was Chris Matthews. I have no idea what happened. I met Chris Matthews once at a fancy DC cocktail party. Those things do exist. I was at one. I met Chris Matthews. I happened to be invited to one by a date. But I was there and I met him, and he's one of these guys who was in the game a long time. I think, he probably started to miss a step in the last few years because he would just go on TV and say really dumb stuff. I think the single most famous phrase he ever uttered was the thrill up the leg, right, about Obama winning. People like him. That you get comfortable with certain media personalities, and then I think you don't even really judge them anymore based on their performance. That's just a common thing. People who have been listening to certain people for a very long time don't care when the show gets bad. They watch somebody for a very long time. They don't care when the show has really ceased to be worthwhile. That's just true across the news media. I don't know why he got pushed out, other than they said that there are comments that he made about women. And I just can't help but notice that Joy Reid still has a job at MSNBC and is treated very well there, is on air regularly. And Joy Reid wrote homophobic stuff on her blog and then claimed that people hacked into her blog to write the homophobic stuff to get her in trouble, and that she was going to ask the FBI to investigate. She still has a job. Chris Matthews was close to retirement anyway, and, I understand that. Chris Matthews does not have a job anymore. And I'm not crying any tears for the guy. He's made millions and millions and millions of dollars to do something that he's really just lucky. He was lucky to be in the right place at the right time and just kind of ride the wave as long as he did. Never found him to be an impressive guy. I do not understand why anybody would turn to him for analysis of anything. But again, it's just, I'm Chris Matthews, I'm loud, I yell, it's just I'm here in D.C., I'm talking fast, and I seem like I know things, and I got connections, I don't know. Some people seem to think that means that he knows something. But he's gone, and there's certainly at some level there's a bit of a Me Too component to this. I just wish we had a better idea. If we're going to assess, also, do we really care? That's why it's the end of the show I'm mentioning this. The answer is no, we don't really care. But I think it's interesting to see how people just take it for granted. On the one side, you have those who see this as inherently as a victory. Another white male fired from his job for comments about women. And there are other people like me who just want to know, okay, well, if we're going to celebrate this, can we know what was going on here? Or do we just have to now celebrate? Somebody loses their job or is pushed out, and it has to do with comments, not actual physical touching or anything criminal, comments to women, and we can't know the comments, and we're supposed to celebrate it? Anyway, I'm not going to miss Chris Matthews. I never watched him. I thought his show was dumb, but this is what happened. Oh, I meant to get to this right before roll call because we actually have what happened. So Matthews, I wasn't watching this live. I saw the clips afterwards. But Chris Matthews bailed out on his show after he did this whole monologue about why he's leaving and how great people were, but how also, he's said he was sorry. He bent the knee. He bent the knee on this one. I don't know what he did, so I can't say if it was a good idea or not. But usually you don't only bend the knee if you think you actually did wrong. Maybe he did do wrong. I don't know. But Steve Kornacki, who's another younger MSNBC host, he was left like holding the bag. He's left like, wait a second. They just switched to him in the newsroom there. He wasn't even supposed to do a show. Play clip 19.
That was a lot to take in just now, I'm sure. And I'm sure you're still absorbing that, and I am too. Chris Matthews is a giant. He's a legend. It's been an honor for me to work with him, to sit in here on occasion. And I know how much you meant to him, and I know how much he meant to you. And I think you're going to miss him, and I know I'm going to. We're not going to have any bells or whistles here. We do have to fill the rest of this hour. We're going to take a quick break.
Yeah, that's usually not what you say. We have to fill the rest of this hour. But I get it. I mean, I've been in the position. I remember once during Glenn Beck's radio show, he was in Dallas and I was in New York, and I was already hosting my own, little show at this point. It's now grown into a big show, but I was hosting my own little baby show. And for some reason, the show was being, fired out to all the affiliates from New York, and they lost the uplink to Dallas, and they grabbed me. I mean, actually, like, put a hand on my shoulder and were like, "Come here," and they pulled me into the radio studio with 30, and they're like, "You got to just go for 10 or 15 minutes here while we figure." So I just hopped in on Glenn's show. I just started doing radio in the middle of Glenn's syndicated program because they lost the uplink, and it was better than running canned audio. They figured it was pretty funny. I did fine, of course, but I have notes. I don't even know what Glenn was talking about. It's like, yes, America, a very good place to be, says I, filling in temporarily for the moment for the great Glenn Beck here on this was, I don't know, maybe this was 6-7 years ago now. That was a fun one. All right, roll call time.
It's time for roll call.
Roll call, everybody. That's right. Everyone assemble for the roll call. It's time. Facebook.com/Buck Sexton or TeamBuck at iHeartMedia.com. Let us get to it. Eric, first up here on roll call. Hey, Buck. During roll call, you and producer Mark were balking at the $150 fine for a red light ticket. Here in Southern California, a red light ticket will run you $600. The cheapest moving violation will run you about $350. The actual violation is about $35 to $50, and the rest is penalty assessments that are kept by the court. It's a scam, but I guess that's par for the course for the People's Republic of California. Keep up the good work. Shields high. $600?
How do people live in that state?
It's so beautiful and the weather is so great, but it's horribly run and it's falling apart. It really is.
All I had to do was see the gas prices, like $4.50 a gallon.
It's crazy.
I was like, no.
Yeah,
never
man.
moving
Look,
here.
I was just out there. The traffic in LA is so bad now that people don't even really. They just sort of don't even try to game it or get around it. They're just like, I gotta go. I'm gonna sit in traffic. Gotta go when I gotta go because there's traffic all the time.
And they don't have public transportation, really, do they?
No.
Yeah.
There's some light rail from Santa Monica that takes you down to, I think, the West Hollywood or somewhere like that, but no, not really. And public transportation wouldn't even really. You'd need such a massive system because LA, as it has been explained to me by Los Angelinos, is really many cities connected together. It's really different cities, and when you think of it that way, it makes more sense.
It's insane to me to think that people live there with that much traffic, that much cost. I don't
but it
understand
was, what is it now? It was like the end of February, and it was 78 degrees when I was there.
I mean,
on Saturday.
that's the benefit.
Right. That's why people, you walk around, you don't have to worry about being cold. You and I get used to just being freezing cold sometimes here.
And just the room we're in is
and we're not even like Minnesotans who it gets, Minnesota cold is like, gosh, it's cold. Oh, yeah.
I got lucky the only time I was in Minneapolis. It didn't snow, and it wasn't that cold.
Dude, Minneapolis, thank God, it's like some of the nicest people on God's green, or as the case may be, snowy earth, because it's really, man, you're up there. I remember being up there in August, and I'm like, you guys, it's nighttime, and I need like a ski jacket. Yeah. And it's August.
It is
What's
a nice
going
town,
on?
though.
Oh, it's great. No, I love Minnesota.
Cold.
I used to go there every summer. But I just think it's, you got to have a really good, people from Minnesota, people from Buffalo, people from Michigan, they got to deal with the cold, man. It gets cold up
They're
there.
not Canadians, Buck.
I mean, they're pretty close to Canada.
They are, but you're giving them the Canadian accent.
I don't know. Someone from Minneapolis will write in and tell us if that's fair or not. We'll see. I always think of the mom from Bobby's World.
They do love hockey there.
They do love their hockey. It's true. Sarah. Hey, Buck, my fiance, who's a two-tour combat vet, has loved you and your show for years. I'd listen on occasion, but just recently really got into your show. I used to think your show's beginning said, decode what really matters with actual intelligence, not actionable. I think both work. Yeah, I think you're right. Anyways, we have a 5-year-old son named Harlan who also joined the Shields High movement. He requests to listen to you over music all the time. The other day, I gave his dad a hug in front of him. His response, "How dare you?" in the infamous Buck impersonation of Greta Thunberg. I don't think I've ever been more proud. Shields High. That's awesome. That makes me really happy. Five-year-old knows. How dare you? Well, Harlan, you are awesome. So shields high to you, man, and high five. And that's right. At least we picked up that from Greta. Spencer. Hey, Buck. Love the show as always. I'm getting a little terrified of a Sanders presidency. My friends list is full of people spouting we're the only industrial country without national health care nonsense. I try to get them to see reason, but they are blind to it and don't want to see. Can the Republicans manage to get something proposed to at least counter the narrative? If there's no proposal before 2020 and the economy is no longer humming, I'm worried. Keeping my shield high in Arizona. Thank you for all you do. P.S. Mark is great too. Avengers is overrated. I think producer Mark's going to take the split on that one. He's okay with that. Yeah, exactly. He calls that a wash. As long as you like him, you can dislike Avengers because it means you have some good taste. As for Bernie Sanders and the presidency, look, right now you got to think that, I mean, the betting odds have gone back to Biden. You know, after his candidacy seemed like it was just fading away into nothing. You got a Biden candidacy that is now very much. You can't call him the front. Look, it's going to be burden. It's going to be Bernie or Biden. It will be a burden on us either way. But yeah, that's where we are. So can the Republicans manage to get something proposed to at least counter the narrative about national health care? You know, you raise a very good point. Republicans do not have strong messaging on health care right now. Our messaging is mostly the Democrat health care is bad. What the Democrats want to do with Medicare for All is bad. And as I keep saying, Medicare for All is not even an accurate description of what it would be. It would be much more expensive and much more expansive than Medicare currently is. So, yeah, I don't know where they are on the healthcare narrative. We keep hearing, we're going to make it more free market and we're going to work to get drug prices down. They've done a little bit of stuff. The administration's done some things to get drug prices down, but I don't think anybody would be able to listen to the story that we're, free market in healthcare, more free market in healthcare now. And they got rid of the penalty for the individual mandate. I don't know. Where are Republicans on healthcare? Where's the Trump plan? We don't have one. We should. They're going to need one. Pam, I heard about this idling law in NYC, and they said if a citizen reports, they can collect a portion of the fine. So it is quite ironic they want citizens to report idling vehicles and snitch on them, but they also want them to hide illegals from ICE. It is insane. They don't even see their own contradictions. Pam, good call. The California state legislature has passed all these laws, for example, that put you in legal jeopardy if as a private business, as a private citizen, you try to work with ICE that in any way goes beyond, what they claim are the rights of illegal aliens. So, they have all these restrictions put in place to help illegal aliens at the expense of people that want to help enforce the law. Although idling, I tell you this, if you've ever had the situation where you think you're going to take like a nice nap, because I've lived on the ground floor in New York City apartments, I've lived on the second floor in New York City apartments, so I've been close to the street. Idling car, I don't know if everyone else, like if you get a person that's idling in a truck or idling in a large SUV, that there's like a reverb from it, and it's actually annoying. Maybe I'm crazy, but I can hear it. I think idling. So I'm not anti-idling for the environment, whatever. I'm anti-idling because I don't like the noise. I'm anti-noise pollution, big time. I hate noise pollution. Jake. Hey, Buckster. OSS here. Started right after you got a daily show at the Blaze. Thank you, Jake. Love your show. It is a highly anticipated part of my 5 days a week. I haven't heard so much discussion about this, but shouldn't the Trump administration get some props for creating a U.S. economic environment which is friendly to manufacturing in advance of the coronavirus? One market reaction to the virus is to question China's reliability for bearing so much of our manufacturing, but Trump's policies have proven to bring a lot of manufacturing back to our shores already. The policy seems pretty prescient now. Jake, first of all, thank you so much for being with me and being OSS for these many years. We actually will play a clip in response to to your question, because I think the president, producer Mark, would you play clip 8? The president addressed this.
The coronavirus shows the importance of bringing manufacturing back to America so that we are producing at home the medicines and equipment and everything else that we need to protect the public's health. And I've been talking about this for a long time. That process has already started. It started long before we ever knew about this. We want to make certain things at home. We want to be doing our manufacturing at home. It's not only done in China, it's done in many other places, including Ireland, and a lot of places make our different drugs and things that we need so badly, and it's not good to be dealing with 1 or 2 or 3 countries, and we do very little at home, and we're going to start doing it at home, and we've been talking about that for a long time. And a lot of the drug companies, because of what we've done in terms of incentives and taxes, they're heading back here anyway.
Jake, I think the leader of the free world probably answered it best. He's been on this. You're correct that he should get some credit for trying to bring home more domestic manufacturing. And, you know, we do want to be in a place where for essential capacity, we are able to just get those assembly lines running here and not have critical supply chain disruption on a global scale cripple domestic commercial activity. So, but yeah, we got to work in it. I think that might be the first time we've been able to have a clip in response like that to a roll call. So we're always innovating. If you're in a corporate boardroom these days, you got to say iterating. You got to be iterating. I don't like that usage of the word, but people do it. Dennis, loyal listener from Utah. Monday night, I had a Biden supporter call me to remind me to go out and vote. After asking him why on earth I would vote for Biden when President Trump has done such an awesome job creating jobs and boosting our economy by cutting regulations, this guy tried to make the argument that it was Obama's economy and that Trump was terrible, of course. Thanks to you, I was able to open up a can of Freedom Hut whoop-ass, yeah, informed him quickly of how ridiculous his argument was and sent him back to his call list with his tail between his legs. You're the man. Keep up the good work. Shields high. Well, Dennis, I'm glad, man. You know, think of the Freedom Hut is like a conservative intellectual ninja training facility, sort of like the one from the movie American Ninja, where for no apparent reason there are all these ninjas running around doing an obstacle course wearing brightly colored ninja suits, like blue and like orange and red. Why are they all wearing different colored suits? Made no sense.
If you see that in this room, you need medical attention immediately.
What?
You just said that this is what the Freedom Hut is like. All these people
no, but it's in your
around.
mind.
Oh.
It's in the mind.
Yeah,
I'm
I still think you need medical attention.
That may be true. I mean, if you're running a high fever and you're seeing ninjas in different colored outfits, and you think it's the Freedom Hut, I would
Probably
say
see a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. If that lasts for more than 4 hours, call your doctor. That's a good rule of thumb, so to speak. Yeah. Where are we here? Yeah, Dennis, I'm so glad that we got your skills to the point where your confidence in the political analysis game to the point where you could crush your enemies and hear the lamentations of their women. Julie, I quite frankly think you are very, very handsome, Buck Sexton. Just saying, go Freedom Hut. Thank you, Julie. That's very nice, considering producer Mark and I had to sift through dozens of messages saying, my name is stupid, my face is stupid, and I'm ugly, and I look like I've gained weight.
You know, Mrs. Sexton, we appreciate you listening.
Right, exactly. Yeah. My mom, my mom, a.k.a. Julie. Yeah. But no, thank you, Julie. That's very sweet of you, and it is meaningful, and it's nice of you to say. Greg, hey, Buck, I'd like to think I'm your biggest millennial fan. I never miss a show, and I always write in. Thank you for sharing my thoughts on Roll Call. I'm hoping Bernie Sanders doesn't get to be the nominee because he offers too much free stuff. As great as the economy is, my generation loves free stuff, and that really worries me. Trump can't compete with Santa Claus. And on another note, you and producer Mark's definition of emo from a past episode was not right. The real emo bands are My Chemical Romance, Silverstein, and Hawthorne Heights, just to name a few. Shields high. I don't know.
I'll give him that on My Chemical Romance. Yeah. They're definitely an emo.
I actually like My Chemical Romance. Yeah. I think they've got some good songs. Them, yeah. Some of them actually work out too. Yeah, they're pretty good.
You have a weird workout playlist.
Oh, I do. Dude, I'm going to share it with you. You have Spotify, right?
No.
We keep talking about this. You don't have... Oh, my gosh. Because you get it free. I understand.
Exactly.
All right. Because otherwise I would share my Spotify. You know, Team Buck, I'll make my Spotify playlist public. How about that? So everybody can listen. You can all give me your thoughts on it. It's called Beast Mode because that's what we go to when we got to lift. Yeah, we're going to end on that note today. If you haven't already, by the way, please do tell folks about the podcast. We did a breakdown of the numbers. We have doubled in 1 year our podcast downloads. We have no budget for promotion at all, folks. This is all you. Please tell somebody about the Buck Sexton Show. The single biggest, most wonderful favor you can do us. Get one person in your life to listen on Apple Podcasts or wherever, Spotify Podcasts, anywhere you want. Until next time, shields high.